You know what? I don't follow the myths that you get weaker. I don't follow the myths that you have to slump over as you age. I don't follow myths, first of all. And I think I have a really positive mindset that tells me you show up. You are consistent with their steps, your strategies, you know, the steps of what we're trying to achieve in our own body. And we're trying to make it generalized, but at the same time, we kind of look at every client and say, this is what you should do. This is what you should do. We just did this with a new client today because she's taking 3 weeks of Pilates with me, and now we're introducing the strength training. And a lot of it is showing up, because that's how people fail. They try something, they start feeling this slight betterment in their body, and then all of a sudden, boom, something comes up and they fall off the horse and they don't get back on the horse. With this method, we use these 6 keys and we learn how to put them together so well that it just kind of controls your whole body. I never thought in a million years I'd get rid of what I refer to as milkmaids. And every woman gets mad at this little bulge right here, this Kellogg's inch thing. And man, has that changed my whole, wow. And feeling sexier, looking in the mirror and looking sexier. You know, and when you look sexier and you feel you're open to the world with great posture and good form, it's so different. Oh man, we got this great method. It's called the Lara method. And you know, it's a combination of a form of a strength training that has some magical keys to it. It is equivalent to success for every single person that does it. But we apply a real specific kind of breathing system that's an internal breathing system that works the internal parts of your body. This system is remarkable because it relies upon muscle movement. It doesn't rely upon momentum. So we move the mind and the body, and that's kind of how strength training and Pilates works. Somebody asked me at the gym this morning, what do you put on your skin? I went, I couldn't even think of the name of the lotion because it's not a real, I don't buy expensive lotions anymore. I just find something that moisturizes my skin. I said, just regular. She goes, no, your skin looks young. Your skin looks toned. It looks like you've tightened up. And she goes, I've seen you in here for at least 4 or 5 years. And it's not like you're going backwards in time. And that was a cool comment. But that's one thing about Tim's skin too, is the skin is amazing. But the lateral thoracic breathing is huge for the skin. It rids 70% toxins. Not only are you building muscle, you are building a toning device in your body that just makes it feel so youthful. I mean, I can't tell you how youthful my muscle system feels in my own skin. That's cool. Probably my mood and my disposition has changed so much because I feel so much better in my skin. I don't feel like I'm fat. I don't feel like I'm flabby. I am toned. I'm more muscular. And that's what's really cool about this program, because if you want bigger thighs, we can show you how to do that. But if you want to decrease your thigh size, we can show you how to do that. And my butt has decreased maybe by a total of 6 to 7 inches. And we were talking about 44-inch hips. I'm down under that 40 mark. And of course, my waist, that's been my biggest change. And I've had a flat stomach from Pilates. But it's through here, for example, and it's through my back where we age considerably and we lose this, you know, it turns into flat. It's like that Kellogg's commercial. It's changed so much with what we're doing. And it's really the strength training. My arms are, Tim sees them in a specific way, and he's kind of shaping my shoulders right now. So we have a specialized system in our once you get past the 3 major chest movements, we move you in to upper pec building. And upper pec building actually supports the pecs, which supports the breast. So it gives you that imagery. It gives you the imagery. It makes us feel open, stronger. But what's really cool is the imagery that it gives everybody else. It also, we work on the serratus, we work on the shoulders. We're big believers that chest and back are the primary points to what gives us great shoulder health. The shoulder health has been remarkable in this program. It's provided a discipline that I don't think I ever had. It's alleviating stress in that process. And you know how stress kind of just like influences everything in the worst kind of way. And it's really probably helped me deal with probably the biggest stress I've ever had, you know, from a divorce, from my children leaving home, from just seeing gray hair come up, seeing all of those things that age presents. I'm changing that, but I'm changing it myself through consistency and through this discipline program. This program, if it's anything, is extremely disciplined. It's strategies. Your mindset and you showing up and you being consistent with it will show you the proof. You will have proof. You know, I felt like my whole upper body was just boobs. And I was one of those women who, you know, my boobs never got smaller with having babies. My 5 babies, my boobs just kept getting bigger and bigger. And so I felt so chested. And it feels like my chest actually just is a part of me. My chest is supported by a very strong and structured foundation of shoulders. And I think that's part of the functional movement, the posture parts. You know, growing older, going through menopause, now being postmenopausal, you know, my boobs kept getting bigger and bigger, drug me down to earth, made gravity come forward, you know, and now they feel like they're just a part of me and not the part that's leading. So, you know, I think that that's a really huge part of me, my chest, my shoulder health. It's also the Pilates portion, the core development has changed me to give me more of that hourglass womanly look. And, you know, after having babies, after having cesareans, I did not have the shape that I think women should have. And that's the biggest change that I believe, is that I have trimmed myself down through here. I've created this amazing, amazing tricep right through here. You know, and part of the chest that we build is through the serratus, your boxing muscles. And we work the back. You know, Sylvia, I've never found a program in my 63 years of life that really works the back as part of your core. And that is huge, because you're getting a full effect. We call it kind of a push-pull series, what we do in everyday life. So we build from a push-pull theory. Our chests and triceps do one thing, our back and our biceps do another thing. And so we move, and we actually, part of our steps is to build those. You got to remember that I came from the 70s. I was a gymnast from the 70s, so my legs have changed considerably. I've lost about 4¼ inches off of here, and almost 4½ here. But my butt, and I've always had a big butt, but I've always had kind of a punchy, you know, slouchy, poochy belly to go with it. But just the effect of the abdominal and the core work that we do. Because, like, for example, here's a great example. We don't warm up like other trainers do or other programs. We warm the core up. We believe in internal warm up of the core. Like, we don't put our clients on treadmills to warm up. We literally zoom right into the powerhouse. The powerhouse is this. Mm-hmm. So the illusion that we actually create through slimming down this part of us And for me, I wanted a smaller butt. And you know, this whole time, I thought adding weight is the key to slimming your thighs and slimming your butt. I was completely wrong until Tim Lara really, he says that's the biggest problem with fitness today, is that we are actually building, making larger thighs, larger butts, larger hips on women by adding weight. But with this system, we don't add weight until you understand the control of the program, lines and angles, breath, alignment, and most importantly, the speed in which we go through. And because our system, if you would just take a look at my arm, what we work with the bicep is, you know, we incorporate the hand through the forearm all the way up to the bicep and through here. So we don't focus again on momentum. And so you won't see us doing this a lot. You'll see us doing this. You'll see us being able to understand how to utilize the entire system. We're moving fascial systems. We're just not using and using muscles too, and that's huge. We're so functional that's what people are talking about in terms of their everyday movement. How easy it is to actually bend over to pick up the grandchild. How to squat, because squatting and some of the real basic functional movements like squatting and chest press, those that we often give up as we age, those are the ones that are really the foundational pieces of our program. Top 3 benefits for me is probably developing a muscle mass that I believe I had in my 20s. That for some reason that I lost in my 30s, 40s, when I was having babies, when I was running after children, when I was teaching kindergarten, but now it's back. That's the first thing. My muscle strength has changed. What does that do? Hey, muscle mass and improving and increasing your muscle mass only protects your bone. My bone density test reads that I'm 41.8 years old and I'm 63 years old, honey. And you know, that's huge. So I know that my muscle mass is really improving my bone density and my bones. The second is I love how my core has developed. And Sylvia, believe this or not, I'm a Pilates teacher. I should know how to build the core. But with this system, I have learned how to build a core from the base of my pelvic floor all the way up to my neck. So again, it's a different system. We're not just working right here. We're working on an entire system. So the core is really, and the third thing is, I would say my flexibility. It has improved my mobility and my flexibility to a point where I feel like I'm back and I'm 20 years old again and living on the ranch, baling hay and doing all those things that I used to do when I was a young woman on a ranch. Honestly, the top one is my own sex appeal. I look in the mirror and I feel sexier. Has that improved my sex life? Absolutely. So that is the biggest, you know, and I think, you know, because people think that when you're in your 60s and 70s that you shouldn't feel sexy, and I do. And I think that is really, really cool. I think that is the top one. Probably, you know, anytime you improve your energy, you improve your productivity, it's like, how do you feel at the end of the day? Most people are so exhausted from either working all day and they don't want to do anything other than sitting. Like, here's a great example. I just did a shoulder routine. I did a leg routine, my second leg routine, and tonight I'll be going to boxing. And then I'm going to a birthday party that I'm hosting. So my energy level has skyrocketed, and you know, which increases your productivity. And I think just feeling young again. You know how huge that is? Just to feel young again. You know, when people hear over the phone, you're 63, you know, they immediately implant it in their head that you're old. But if I go to you for the first time ever, most people think I'm in my 40s. So I know I'm knocking age off the shelf and I'm going backwards in time. When you improve your sex appeal, when you improve your energy, all those things equal more confidence. It just does. You know, and that in itself makes for such a better disposition and just overall a better mood. It's like a big gray area, but one thing I really remember is how tired I used to be at the end of the day. And I always felt older in my 30s and 40s. And now here I am in my 60s, heading into my mid 60s, and I'm feeling younger, more energized, more productive. So, you know, I think that that's a huge, huge thing. And that's funny because that's one thing that we really promote. We were just talking about this to a new client today. Start wearing a tank top. Start looking at yourself because you're going to see the change. And that's true. When you see the change, you will be your biggest critic. Let's just say 10 years ago, all I saw was sagginess, bagginess, older looking skin, not tight, not toned, not flexed, older skin, older muscles. I felt old. I think that's the coolest part, because when you think back 10 years ago and you're so exhausted, you've lost energy, you've lost the ability to love your spouse because you don't have any energy for that spouse, then it makes you feel old even when you're not old. But when you become fit, when you become toned, when you become and finding this newfound energy and productivity, it makes you feel younger. And just, just looking in the mirror now, I go by the mirror and then I go by it again because I almost have to take a second look at how I've changed. And I love what's happening right here in my chest and my neck, because everybody, that they say that's the first to go. Yeah, well, that's not true. At my biggest weight, I avoided the mirror. I mean, who wants to look in the mirror when you feel lumpy? When you feel like you've got just balloons sitting on a big ball? I mean, I don't like that look, so I avoided the mirror. And that's what's really cool, because I don't avoid the mirror now. Well, and I think that has a lot to do with your level of confidence and being able to look in the mirror and saying, wow, you're everything that you want to be, and you're everything that the rest of the world says you can't be because you're growing older. And that's not true. People, if they join the Lara method, they will feel better, they will look better, their confidence will grow in themselves, they'll be so much happier in their own skin. It improves muscles, it improves your flexibility, it improves everything. And the cool part is, if you want to cut down certain parts of it, the body sculpturing alone is so huge in this program. And that's honestly, so that's the one part that has surprised me, is I did not think I was ever capable of being smaller in my butt and thighs. And it's funny because one of my trainers from 25 years ago said to me, because he is the trainer at where I work out, says to me, Sharon, you have never, ever looked better. He says, you look younger now than you did 25 years ago, when you were 35, 40 pounds heavier, flabbier, wore baggier clothes because you tried to avoid looking into the mirror and you tried to avoid having people look at your body. Now it's okay to look at my body because I know I'm fit. So one thing that I've noticed is from the Lara method is because of the muscular strength. It has changed my posture. So my neck in itself has slimmed out, and honest, it has become toner. It is, you know, in your mid-60s, you're supposed to have these wrinkles and everything. And yeah, I do have a few wrinkles, but my neck is longer from my shoulder support, my chest. The biggest thing with my shoulders is I have more of a natural opening of my shoulders. I've gotten rid of these big milkmaids that every woman complains about after nursing children. I've lost through here, all this back fat that you gain from pregnancy. You know, about half the women lose this. Most women do not lose this. And we're talking about this area through here. For the first time ever, I have a six-pack, and it has traveled all the way down. From my butt, my butt's still sizable, but, and this is another comment that has cracked us all up, is because somebody in Lifetime Fitness says, you know, you have a butt kind of like a stripper wants to have a butt, because it's so firm and it's lifted. It's not a baggy butt by any means. My thighs alone has shaped, and I love the fact that right through here, I've got more of an hourglass figure, and it shows that I don't have lumpy hips or lumpy thighs, but very even. My calves alone, and you can't see my calves, but my calves are actually developed for the first time. And actually my hamstrings, you can see my hamstrings have definition. The muscular part of it, the strength training alone, is so remarkable. I love it because it makes you feel so good. I've done the old-fashioned way. You're looking at somebody who's lifted weights for 30 years, and I kind of bumbled and stumbled through fitness centers, you know, and I would watch, and today I still watch people doing this. And what happens is when you go fast and you rely upon momentum, you work a certain part of the muscle. But we recognize that we have an anterior bicep, we have a posterior bicep, and we have one low, we have one high. So we work on the slowness, which is a huge key of the Lara method, because see, we're building forearm muscles. We're building an entire system. With a slow speed, you can actually hit the connective tissue, the fascial line, that encases the entire muscular system. With a fast speed and using momentum, you're only using a small portion of the muscle system. We use the entire system encased by connective tissue or fascia. My name is Sharon Chapman. I have a company that's called Restoring Cores. We build lives, we build health, we build fitness, we build cores. We show people how to become stronger, better, healthier, fitter, no matter what your age, basically.
What's your method you're promoting?
The method that we're promoting is a combination of 3 disciplines: strength training, which is very distinct, very disciplined, very mindset and consistent; Pilates, because we use the breath and we use the core building and the powerhouse of Pilates; and the functional movement. And the functional movement is how we move in everyday movement. So those are the 3 disciplines that we actually combine. You should join, because this is the best time to be the strongest, to be the fittest, to be the best looking woman in the room. You know, you want to do this because no matter what, you have 2 choices. You either die or you get older. And why not get older to the best that you can be? I mean, I can't tell you how wonderful this is just in my own body. If you don't do anything, you're going to lose muscle mass. First of all, muscle mass, man, increases your inflammation. Inflammation is the primary reason for most chronic diseases. You're talking about an increase in diabetes, an increase in cancer, an increase in obesity. if you don't work on muscle mass, if you don't work on flexibility and mobility, you're not going to be able to enjoy getting down on the ground with your grandkids. You're not going to be able to enjoy taking those long walks, playing tennis, going out and doing a full day's worth of golf. You're making the best decision of your life, and you're not going to look back. Literally, I think if you press that button, you will feel so good that you're in the Lara method hands. It's going to change the way you feel. It's going to change your mood. It's going to change what you look like in the mirror. We see change in 4 weeks. You know, we believe in discipline and we believe in a good mindset. We're not, we're going to present you with the steps and the strategies. You're going to have to take the initiative. You're going to have to take the mindset. If you need help with that and motivation, we can help you with that. But what it ultimately equals is literally a better and a fitter you. You know, we've got a Facebook group, and everything in that private Facebook group are things that people tell me either via email. You know, we keep into close contact, Tim and I, with every single person. And they tell us what they need. If it's motivation, if the diet, we're just about ready to talk and speak to diet a lot because people struggle. And diet to us is about 90% of this because it adds so much to the way you feel and what you can do in a weight room or what you can do in a Pilates room or what you basically can do in any fitness. So we're going to speak to diet because that's what we're hearing from our clientele. So we keep in close contact either through Facebook, email. I have 4 people that text me a couple of times a week and say this or they need help with that. So we keep in close contact. We actually design our lessons from what our clientele need. You're going to change your life. You're going to feel younger. You're going to feel better. Your mood's going to change. You're going to feel stronger. You're going to feel toned. You're going to feel like you fit in your body again.